What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 7, Episode 3, The Sound and the Fury. Let's talk about Renee and Chitty. I want to touch on two things regarding Renee and Chitty, and that's the chicken incident, and the vow of celibacy. So it's her second day in Nigeria, and Renee, Chitty, and Chitty's sister Victoria all go to the market. So they get to the place where they sell the chickens. And the process is you buy a chicken and the person who's selling the chicken will kill the chicken and prepare it for you. So when the guy was about to kill the chicken, Renee got all up in a tizzy. She was like, "Oh no, you're not going to kill the chicken. I'm not going to allow it. I will burn this place down if you kill that chicken." She was really on 10 and was not going to allow them to kill the chicken. And so Victoria was like, "Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but she's way out of control." So she told the guy, "Okay, you don't have to kill the chicken." So Renee got so angry about this issue that Victoria became concerned. Not so much about Renee's beliefs. Hey, if you have an affinity towards animals and you don't want them killed, even though you eat them, because she does eat chicken, and she admitted that, yes, I do eat chicken, but I don't want them killed. Because then Victoria was like, so how do you expect to eat them if they're not going to be killed? Like, how? Maybe she's one of those people where she understands that it's a very gory process and she doesn't want to know the details of how it goes from a live animal to your dinner. She wants to ignore the whole entire process of the in-between part from live animal to dinner. She just wants to act like that whole process doesn't exist. Maybe she's one of those people. But Victoria was more concerned with how angry she got, because you can express what you believe without showing so much anger. So that was the sister's concern. Like, okay, what is my brother getting into? Why is this woman becoming so unhinged like this in a public place? Like, she can't control yourself. You can tell the people exactly what you believe or what you're not comfortable with in a calm way. In a normal, calm way. You don't have to go that much over the top, and you don't have to like and explode with so much anger over this. You don't like it, you don't believe in it, you don't want to witness it. It's totally understandable, but you can express yourself in a way that's not offensive to other people. So, moving on from there, Chitty and Renee are having a conversation. And Chitty acknowledges to Renee that, hey, I feel a lot of love from you. I can see how much you care about me. What can I do to show you how much I care about you? And Renee tells Chitty, well, you can touch me more because I'm all about physical touch. I guess that's her love language, is physical touch. She says, you can reach out, hold my hand, caress me, hug me, whatever. I need more of a physical contact with you. And so then Chitty decides that this is a great moment to let her know that he took a vow of celibacy. He tells her that I just want you to understand that I don't plan on having sex with you until we're married. I took a vow of celibacy. Now, Renee was like completely turned off by this. I mean, she was really upset about this because she said that if she would have known that he did this, she would not have come to Nigeria. Now, she says this in her confessional directly to us, not to him. But she does tell him, I don't understand why you're doing this because, for the past 5 years that we've been together, we talked about how we've had this great connection with one another, how God put us together. We were meant to be. There's just chemistry between us. We have an attraction towards one another. And, we just always talked about how you and I were just such a great match and how we are really good together. So I'm not understanding like why you're taking a step back. And he told her, he stood 10 toes down. He was like, I will not have relations with you until we're married because I made a promise to God. And so she was like, you're going to allow your religion to get in between, our spiritual connection, to get in between what we got going on. You're going to allow God to get in between all of that. And so she was trying to really minimize the importance of marriage. Evidently, he sees it as a very important thing. And she was trying to say it's just a piece of paper. He was like, oh, hold up, hold up. It is not just a piece of paper. To him, I'm assuming a wedding and marriage and all of that is like a religious experience where you're committing yourself to another person before God, and God is ordaining this union. So I'm pretty sure that's how he sees it. And she tries to really minimize it and be like, oh, it's no big deal, just a piece of paper. So she felt rejected by him saying this instead of like respecting his religion and trying to focus on other areas of their relationship other than just sex, she took this as a personal rejection towards her. So I'm just not understanding, like, y'all been together for 4 years, the whole entire relationship has taken place long distance. Now that y'all are seeing each other in person, why don't you take this opportunity to learn more about each other? You're in a beautiful new country. He didn't say he would never have sex. He didn't say he's not comfortable with sex. All he said was, let's just wait until we're married, which I'm thinking is the path that the two of you are on. You are on the path to marriage. And y'all are on a show called 90 Day Fiance, so you have 90 days to get married. It's only 3 months, Renee, that you're going to have to wait. So I'm thinking, take this opportunity to get to know him better, to get to know his country, his culture, and vice versa, for him to get to know you better and to ask questions about America. Because I'm thinking the plan is for them to come to America, right? To get married in the United States. So there's so much to learn about each other. Like, why are you so hyper focused on this one thing? And you understand, I'm pretty sure Renee knows that they're religious people who believe that sex should only be between a husband and wife. So he wants to wait. This is nothing new to her. This is not like a chitty thing. This is very common in the Christian religion. So I don't understand why she was so offended by this, why she took it so personally. And I was just proud of Chitty that he wasn't going to budge. He wasn't going to allow her to make him, to try to throw him off track with the things that he really does believe in. And when push comes to shove, Renee, if this is not your thing, you can't really respect a man who is this involved with his religion. You don't have to be with him. You can break up with him and go find somebody who's ready to jump your bones right now. So just I didn't understand why she took it so personally when she knows that it's coming from a religious standpoint. Now, if he was not religious at all, okay, if he was not a religious man and was like, yeah, I just don't really want to have sex with you right now, then I can understand why she would take it personally. But he has the excuse of, or the justification of, it doesn't align with his beliefs. And he didn't say he wasn't going to do it at all. He just said that he wasn't going to do it until y'all are married. Moving on to Tiger Lily and Adnan. So they performed the marriage ceremony, right? Before they did that, though, she did get to meet his brothers and she met his mom. Everything went well with that. So it's time now for them to actually get officially married. So they exchanged their vows and they signed the marriage contract. And I'm thinking to myself while I'm watching this, so there's going to be no talk about prenuptial agreements. It looks like Adnan comes from money because the video of the wedding is on one of their Instagrams and it was all over social media. And so we saw clips of the wedding, and the wedding was huge. It looked extremely expensive, like very, very, very expensive. Her gown, the decorations, the venue, the wedding was a big deal. So like, there's no talk. Evidently, they both have money, or we know for sure she has money. So like, was there no discussion about prenuptial agreements? But then again, Tiger Lily, her head is in the clouds. And so to her, life is a big fairy tale and, love is going to conquer all and take care of everything. So she's not worried about her money. Plus, I think if you go into a marriage with money, then I don't think that money ever becomes marital property. But who knows? I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. So they exchanged the wedding vows, they exchanged rings, and now it's time to consummate the marriage. So Adnan was very excited about that. So they go back to their own hotel. He throws the whole entire camera crew out because, he's about to lay pipe on his wife. So the next morning, he talks about how he's no longer a virgin, but he's not going to, talk about any details because he's not going to do that. Now, she tells us that it was wonderful, it was beautiful, it was everything that she expected and more. She even went on to say she doesn't even know how she's able to still stand. So after that, she has an appointment with a hairstylist. So the hairstylist comes into her hotel room to fix her hair. And Adam was not happy that the hairstylist was a man because, with his religion, no one can, a woman cannot be physically touched by a man that's not her husband. So Tiger Lily tells him, he's just fixing my hair. So he was okay with that. He went ahead and, he let it happen, but he stayed the whole entire time and he gave the hairstylist a time limit. So he gave him like 5 minutes to fix her hair. Then he had to leave. I was like, Lord have mercy. So, Tiger Lily says that she has never seen this side of Adnan before. Yeah, because you don't know him. You don't really know him. You've never seen this side of Adnan because you've never been around him. This is the first time that you're physically around him, and you've only known him a total of 4 months. So you're going to be seeing a whole lot of sides of Adnan that you may or may not like. So they're on their way to, there's going to be like this big dinner planned where she is like officially introduced to the family. So they get to the venue or the restaurant, and she meets like, the multitude of all of his relatives, his siblings. He's got like 10 siblings or something. So she meets all of his relatives there, and they're having dinner, and everyone just wants to feed her. Everyone just wants her to eat and eat and eat. And she says she's not used to eating this much food. And then Adnan comes and he tries to hand feed her. And she really wasn't feeling, she was going with the flow. She definitely was being polite about it at the dinner table. Even though maybe she didn't like the food or she didn't like to be hand fed by her husband, she was definitely going with the flow, which was good. But then later on in their confessional, she was like, yeah, I really didn't like that. I didn't like the food. I didn't like to be hand fed. So one of his brothers approaches them and asks them, so where do y'all plan to live? Hopefully y'all are going to stay in Jordan. And Adnan tells his brother that he's going to go back and forth between the two. And the brother asks Tiger Lily, why don't y'all just stay in Jordan? And Tiger Lily says, I have kids in the United States. I can't stay here. So that's a whole nother thing that they don't really know about each other, that they haven't really talked about in depth. Where are y'all going to live? Is Tiger Lily going to be okay with Adnan living in two separate countries? Because it seems like Adnan wants to split his time between the United States and Jordan. That's what it seems like. Like he doesn't really want to stay put in America. So how is Tiger Lily going to feel about that? So many things that they haven't discussed. So yeah, at least they're on the same page as far as the sex. They enjoyed that very much. Moving on to Sunny and Via. So Sunny is our newest couple. Sunny is 25 years old. He's originally from Bangladesh, but he lives in South Africa. He met Via on an international dating app. Via is from Florida. She grew up in foster care system. She had a really rough childhood. Her parents were addicts, so they were placed in the foster care system. She had a whole bunch of siblings. And when we meet Sunny, he's telling his roommate how much he loves Via, how when he met her, how attracted he was to her. He loves her so much. He cares for her so much. Then the roommate reminds him, but I've heard y'all argue. Y'all's arguments are pretty intense. And the thing is, it seems like they argue about a lot of stuff, I guess, but it seems like Sunny may have a jealousy issue. She's very close to her ex-boyfriend Rory, and Sunny is aware of this, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the fact that Via still has close ties to her ex-boyfriend. So when we see Via, she is hanging out with her friends, and she's talking about her upcoming trip to South Africa to meet Sunny for the very first time in person. And this girl tells her friends that her ex-boyfriend Rory is going to be joining her on this trip. He's going to come with her to South Africa. And the friends are like, so how does Sunny feel about this? Because he already has an issue with Rory. The fact that they're so close, and also Rory has been trolling Sunny's social media page. So he already has an issue with this guy. And so they ask her, how is he going to feel about this when you show up there with your ex-boyfriend? And she sees nothing wrong with it. Her justification, her excuse for bringing her ex-boyfriend with her, she says it's because, number one, she's never flown internationally alone before. So she has a lot of anxiety about just the traveling part. And so she needs him there, I guess, like a support animal or something. She needs him there to help her out. And she also says that because her and Sunny argue so much, she wants somebody there to be on her side. The whole thing is a horrible idea. I don't know if this is planned by the show just to create tension and drama, but the whole thing is stupid as hell. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Vea. Like, for you to think that it's remotely okay to bring an ex when you go meet your boyfriend for the very first time, there's something wrong with you. There's something really, really wrong with you. And the way that I see Sunny and the way that I see Vea, I don't know how they're matching. I don't know what the hell they have in common. They don't look like a couple that is good together at all. They don't look like they match as a couple whatsoever. So this is going to be quite interesting. But this is some nonsense that TLC has concocted, and the whole thing is stupid. Moving on to Brian and Ingrid. So they are leaving the airport and they're in the parking lot, and Brian is showing Ingrid how to install his what was it called, the hand control things that he has to help him drive. So he's teaching her how to put them on the car, in the car or whatever, how to install it, so that he's able to drive the car. And she was like talking in her confessional. She was telling us, I'm not understanding why I have to do this, why I have to install the hand controls, because he claims that he travels a lot by himself, that he's very, very independent. So I don't know why I'm breaking my nails installing these hand controls when he could have done it himself. So they get to the hotel, and Brian makes sure to let us know they brought his little blue pills with him, just in case things get hot and heavy between him and Ingrid. And Brian tells us that sex is very important to him, even though he doesn't feel anything below his waist. He doesn't feel anything, but it's a way for him to connect with his partner, and it helps him feel wanted by his partner. Okay, so he wanted to know he wants her to know exactly what it's like to be with someone who's in a wheelchair, to be with a quadriplegic. He wants her to get the full experience of what it's like. It's more than just, helping them. Like, it's more than just pushing their wheelchair or whatever. It's more than that. So he wants her to get the full experience. So he goes, after she showers, he goes into the bathroom, and he wants her to witness like what he goes through. And I don't think she had to witness him like using the toilet or anything like that, but basically like how he gets out of the chair, how he gets into the bathtub. He wanted her to see all of this. And he also wanted her to see um like how he uses his catheter, and what's needed to be done for him when he needs to put on a condom. So he wants her to see this. He wants her to understand like the process and all of that. She was so uncomfortable, right? She was turning her head away. She was trying to really give him privacy, while he had to do whatever he needed to do. She wanted to give him privacy, but he was like, no, he wanted her to watch. He wanted her to see. And she just was not comfortable with it at all. And so I don't know what he had planned for the night, but if he was planning to be intimate with her, it didn't happen. She was ready to go to bed. So you could tell how uncomfortable she was. And so later on, he says, I wonder if it was too much for her. Yes, Brian, it was way too much for her. It was too much for her. Um, this is not something that a lot of people are used to. Obviously, it's something that, we should all be aware of, but it's not something that a lot of people are used to. And so I understand his sentiment about how she needs to fully understand what I go through, because if y'all are going to be intimate partners, she needs to know, she needs to know what you go through. I get that part, but I think that the timing was wrong because they just met, right? I think they just met. Or did they meet before? I don't know. But they're still very like in the early stages of their relationship where they're trying to get to know each other. I think that he really should have waited until she expressed a curiosity about it. He should have waited until she began to ask questions, and let him know that she wanted to know the process. But the first night that y'all are together, you just arrived in Brazil and you're putting this all on her. She was extremely uncomfortable. So I thought, I understand where he's coming from. It's like, I want my partner to know what I go through. I want them to know exactly what I go through because I need to know if they can handle it. And I understand where, like I said, I know where he's coming from. He wants to know, like, once you see what I go through on a daily basis, are you willing to stick around? Is this something that you can commit yourself to? Because he wants to get married, right? And so he wants to make sure that she's not going to run, that she's not going to be uncomfortable, that she is ready for this life. of being with someone who was a quadriplegic. So I get it. Just the timing of it all, Brian, the timing was not right. The timing was wrong. The timing was wrong. Moving on to Faith and Lauren. So Lauren has arrived in the Philippines, and she takes him to the hotel that he's going to be staying at, which is also the hotel where she works at, where Faith works at. And he has his own room because she wants to take things slow. So she doesn't want to share a room with him. So she put him in his own room. They go grab dinner, and this is like her first date with someone, because she's, um everything, she's never had a serious relationship before. So they go out to dinner. This is like their very first date, and she tells him her history with dating foreign men, that initially there's an attraction there, the men are really into her, but then when they find out that she's a trans woman, they block her, they don't talk to her anymore. And he lets her know, look, I know, I get it, I'm all into you, I know that you're a trans woman, that's my thing, I love it, so I'm here to stay. So then after that, Lauren pulls out the girlfriend test, which is like 40 written questions that he wants her to answer. And she's like, this is like a school assignment. Like, what are you doing? What is this? So it's a list of questions that he is very serious about her answering. So they go through that, whatever. They laugh about that. And Faith tells Lauren that she wants to take things really slow. And Lauren says, okay, yeah, I get it, girl, but we only have 20 days, because I guess in the Philippines, it's 20 days before you have 20 days to get married, before you can apply for the visa or something. So Lauren wants to know immediately if they're going to be sexually compatible. He's like, I need to know this in order to make my decision, I guess, of whether or not he wants to marry her. And so they're like kind of like on different pages when it comes to the relationship and how fast or slow the relationship is moving. She wants to take her time. He wants to speed it up because he wants to hurry up, jump in the bed with her to see if they're compatible there. Then he can decide, long term how the relationship is going to go. So that was Faith and Lauren. And that is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.